Hey Scorpio, this is your monthly tarot reading. We are looking at the month of September 2023. This is for Scorpio sun or rising signs. So yeah, these are more extensive readings. Readings. So if you want more bite-sized kind of readings, I also do bi-weeklies that go from full moon to new moon or new moon to full moon. So just 2 days before the beginning of September, on August 30th for the blue moon, I put out a video that's approximately 5 minutes long for full moon to the new moon on the 14th. So in this video though, we are taking a look at the overall, like what is happening over the course of the month, the unfolding of that specific challenge that is going to be feeling maybe more prominent. And then also what kind of, you could say, spiritual guidance, divinatory guidance that's actually going to be coming through for that. Feeling this card here. Okay, and here. All right. So, all right. And the astrological highlights video is probably going to be coming out a few days into September. For those of you who don't know, my 83-year-old dad was rescued from the Lahaina fires and lost everything. So it's just been really hectic, and I'm trying to kind of like get back on track and doing the best that I can. But yeah, so that's why I'm kind of running behind on videos at the moment, but I will get back on track. So no worries. It will happen. Here we go. All right. Lovely. So let's dive into your reading, Scorpio. So in order to kind of focus like the lens in which like what area of life are we looking at for you, I use these astrological cards that refer to the houses. And so each one refers to a different part of life. And so this actually has to do with siblings or sibling-like people. So people who feel like brothers or sisters in your life, they're that close, or sometimes maybe extended family. Also has to do with communication, written or spoken, and also having to do with your immediate neighborhood, right? Like your neighbors, but also like where you go to get groceries, or where you go to the mailbox, or where you go for, you know, like the regular haunts that you go to get certain things. So that's what this particular card has to do with. Oh gosh, no, sorry. I thought that said third house. Scratch that. Totally not going to edit that out. But so scratch all of that. This actually has to do with your 6th house. For some reason, I thought it said third house. I don't know why. So 6th house has to do with your day-to-day routines, habits, and rituals. So the foundation upon which you build the rest of your life, right? If we have good habits, then we can really build a solid foundation for whatever we're creating. Also pets, also your health. So again, scratch what I said before, integrate this here. So that's what we're looking at here. So as we look at the month and the way that it's progressing, we have Pentacles, Major Arcana, and Air that's happening. So let's dive into this. So we have, starting out the beginning third of the month, not really surprising given that we have Venus that has been retrograde is stationing direct on September 3rd. And while it will be out of retrograde after that, it still takes time for it to kind of build and grow. But there's this kind of almost like wrapping up of the things that we have had under, not necessarily scrutiny, but we have been examining about our values with regard to like what we want in terms of like harmonious relationships with others, or also our finances, and also our own personal aesthetic, right? So I feel like this is what's up at the beginning of the month that really makes sense, because the 9 of Pentacles has a lot to do with our self-worth and our value, and knowing our self-worth, knowing what our value is, knowing that we have something of value to contribute, and being grounded in that, right? In the middle third of the month, we come into a space where it's like needing to ask the big picture questions. Not totally surprised by this either, given the fact that we have Mercury retrograde when we enter the beginning of this month, and it stations direct on the, is it 14th or 15th? I believe it's the 15th. And so there has just been this kind of contemplation, not only because we've just come out of 40 days and 40 nights of Venus retrograde, and we're wrapping that energy up, but then we are in this Mercury retrograde, and depending on where it's hitting in your astrological chart, it can speak more specifically to where, but it just puts a lot of things in review. And we have a lot of other outer planets that are in retrograde. That happens every year, though. I feel like the personal planets are the ones that really hit us. And so there is just like this, what am I here for? What do I want? What am I like, is what I wanted before, is what I desired before, is what I was building towards before still what I want now? Are my values still in alignment? You know, how do I want my day-to-day life to feel? How do I want my life overall to feel? Is there anything that's changed about what I've been working towards, building towards? And like, how do I need to integrate that now into my life? And what things might I need to let go of and allow, right? So, excuse me. May or may not edit that out. So we come into the last third of the month, and things are moving a lot more swiftly. You know, I mean, we're out of 2 personal planet retrogrades, and so things are starting to pick up speed. However, I think that there is a possibility to be a little bit rash about things, and that there's a need to slow things down a little, just like take a moment to pause. You know, the nights are about action. It's not that you shouldn't take action. It's more about like, yes, maybe you need to take swift action, and maybe you need to pivot quickly. Just remember to do all the checks and balances, to remember that you are to ensure that you are not tripping yourself up for later, right? So what kind of challenge is the common thread that's going to be maybe rearing its head and coming through during this particular part of the month? And part of it has to do with confusion. Confusion maybe because there are so many different options that you either have or options that you are considering, having a hard time choosing like, which one do I follow? Which one do I take up on, right? And so that feeling like being the most prominent challenge. And the spiritual advice that we have coming through with that is to stay true to yourself, you know, be in a space that is balanced, be in a space that is like as much as possible win-win for everyone, but also staying true to yourself, also making sure that you are being balanced and fair about things for yourself as well. I find that, you know, not always, but often enough, I see that there's a tendency for people to step into a space of balance or fairness, and they forget about themselves in the process. They're looking about what's balanced or fair for everyone else. So this is about staying true to yourself, speaking what's true for you, and in the moment, at least, right? And also being fair and being diplomatic and tactful about how you go about achieving the means to your ends, or the ends to your means. So that's what I have for you. So I hope that this feels helpful. I think that one way that you can get a little bit more insight is to look at the bi-weekly videos that I just put out. So go check that out. Like I said, it's approximately a 5-minute video for most of those videos. So you can go check that out for the Scorpios and see like how that actually plays out. Maybe it'll give you a little bit more insight. Again, if this is your sun sign, you're like, I'm not so sure, maybe go check out your rising sign, but the best way is really one-to-one reading. So I hope that this was insightful and helpful in some way, and if it was, please consider giving the video a like. It does really help me out a lot for building this channel and the algorithms, like being a part of that, you know, in a favorable way. Definitely while you're there, why not subscribe? Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of these videos on the horizon. Also, you'll see in the description box down below, I am promoting my dad's GoFundMe after he lost everything in the Lahaina fires. It's awkward for me to do that, if I'm being really honest, but I am just trying to promote like, hey, if you feel open to sharing this with your friends or your community, that would be awesome. If not, no worries. You know, I'm just trying to put the word out for him on his behalf because he's an awesome dad. So I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for being here. Bye.